Hello everyone from Tony, the Scout Ghost. Today it's a great day for me because I'm here with Jan Goetgeluk, the CEO of Virtuix. So welcome here, Jan. How is your day today?
Hey Tony, great. Thanks so much for having me.
So for me, it's very exciting to be here with you, Jan, because basically, as I was saying you before, we started more or less the same years in working in VR, and in the moment I had a solution for full body VR with walking. We were seeing your solution that was already very cool, walking on the treadmill. So I've always been a bit connected, let's say, with Virtuix because it was one of the first cool VR projects I discovered after the headset. So very happy to be here with you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a long road. That was 10 years ago. So yeah, we were early.
We were young and happy. I'd say we didn't have to go through 2, 3 winters of VR and metaverse like now. So there were good times, but even now there's lots of cool things to do. But since you have this long history with VR, can you tell me the history of Virtuix, how you started, where you started, and how you arrived until now, basically?
Yeah. Yeah, and I joke with our team, our biggest accomplishment to date is that we survived. A lot of companies did not survive. Those that started with us in those early days, 2013. We started with a Kickstarter campaign way back when. Did $1 million Kickstarter campaign in
Wow.
2013. Yeah, one of the biggest campaigns at that time. Lots of excitement. And VR was supposed to be, the next big thing by 2015. Millions of headsets in the field, and of course it took a long time. It took much longer than most people anticipated. We actually had to pivot to the commercial market just to survive. Refunded all our Kickstarter backers and pre-orders with interest. Pivoted to the commercial markets, and we did that quite well. We brought out 2 products in the commercial space, Omni Pro and then Omni Arena, which is our esports attraction for commercial entertainment, for big entertainment venues like Dave & Buster's. We have an offering for that market. And now we've come full circle. Now we just started shipping our 3rd product, which is Omni One, which is our first Omni designed for the home, for consumers. So we're back to the original vision we had from the start. It is an Omni system for the home, and that's Omni One, and that's what we just started shipping this year in beta for now to our investors. But it's here, it exists, and we're very excited about it.
That's great. So before we start speaking more about the Omni One, since we're talking about the history, so I was there all these years. And I remember when your product came out in Kickstarter, everyone was dreaming about having this at home. And then it started, at certain point, the disappointment where people realized this was very difficult to happen. So I would like to ask you, so why there has been, let's say, these pivot moment at a certain point was technical, etc. And why do you think now instead you can go back to the consumer market?
Yeah. The demand for the consumer space wasn't that high in those early days. So the demand, the consumer market for VR just wasn't there yet. Technology was an issue. We couldn't bundle our system as a complete system because back then you always also needed a PC to drive VR. There was a lot of cables involved. Now with Omni One, it's a complete system where we can bundle the treadmill with a standalone VR headset. So standalone VR headsets, that's definitely been a big breakthrough in VR for all of us. And also for us, because we can bundle the treadmill with a standalone VR headset and offer the complete system to the end customer. So that all wasn't possible back then. Also, when we started developing the product, it turned out to be more of a commercial product. Costs were higher than we anticipated. It's very robust, hard to ship. And back then with Kickstarter, and you said we were young and happy and also young and naive, Kickstarter just offers your product to everybody around the world. Back then you couldn't filter out different countries. So yes, here it is for everybody in the world can have this massive product for the home. Well, we were naive, it just wasn't possible to start shipping products like that all over the world and supporting them. as a small company. So there's a lot of things that it just wasn't doable. It just wasn't realistic to deliver a product to homes around the world at that time for many reasons. And then we had to make the difficult decision. Okay, well, unfortunately, we're going to have to refund our backers, and some of them were very upset. Still to this day, many of our backers are really upset. Although even calling us a scam, so well, wait, no, we refunded people with interest. So we tried to be good to be correct, but it's disappointing. It was disappointing for me as well, because we had a very vibrant community, a strong community. I really loved our community. And then having to say, look, sorry, just can't deliver right now. We have to focus commercially first, just to survive. That was a hard decision, but it's a decision we needed to make. And here we are today.
Yeah, that's cool that we arrived today finally to this point. And so, since we're talking about the Omni One, so do you want to tell us some of the features? So what are the new things that people can find on this device?
Yeah, Omni One offers unmatched freedom of movement. So you're no longer held up by the support ring like in the Omni Pro. You can fully kneel, crouch, jump. So you have full freedom of movement, which is really neat. It's also optimized for consumers, so it's very easy to put together. No tools needed to assemble it or disassemble it. It rolls around. It's designed for the living rooms. It looks like it fits into an interior. So yeah, optimized for home use.
And I saw it. What is the headset that it works with?
Yeah, we're shipping with a Pico headset. Pico is our headset partner. Right now, we're shipping with the Pico Neo 3 Pro. Pico 4 is not available yet in the US. And Pico has been a terrific partner of ours. The headset is customized for us. So when you turn on the headset, it shows Virtuix. So it has our software on it, our game store, and we work hand in hand with Pico to customize their headset for our application.
Oh, that's good. But can it so be used also with other headsets? So if I have a Pico 4 here in Europe, can I somehow connect it with the Omni?
Yes, you can. You can. Omni One is a complete system, but it's not a closed system. So you can still connect Omni One to a PC and play PC-based VR games with your own headset if you'd like to.
But with a standalone one like the Quest 2 or the Pico 4, is it possible directly also or not yet?
Quest 2 is a closed system, so we can't make our treadmill work with it. That's they close off their system. And then Pico 4, it's a good question. We'll likely ship with a Pico 4 ourselves, but again, it's customized and optimized for our system. It's a good question whether you could also just connect it to a regular Pico 4. I'm not sure at this point, actually. Yeah.
Okay,
we'll sure make it compatible with a PC, but with other standalone headsets, it's not plug and play typically. So we've got to look at that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's as you said, you need an open system to connect properly. I would like to know what are the games available, because maybe someone is watching this video would like to play, I don't know, some Half-Life Alyx or whatever is the, Gorilla Tag. I mean, what is available?
Yep. We're working on that right now. We haven't announced our launch titles yet, but you can think of all the popular VR games. So any good VR game that has a locomotion aspect, a movement aspect, would be a great fit to play with the Omni. So we're actively working with those developers to bring their games to our store, to our platform, which it's not a lot of work. We have an SDK, a software development kit, which is fairly easy to implement. So it's not that much work for developers to make their game work with the Omni.
Yeah, okay. So if some developer is listening to watching this video, of course, can think about, especially if the game is as a locomotion, let's say, which is very important. Like I did a fitness game, but that's all about being static and do boxing. So that probably is not the best fit. But if something is about maybe FPS games, I think the best. But tell me, so usually what are the content that people like? Mostly FPS games or fitness, or what are the genre that people like the most?
Yeah, a little bit of everything. I mean, certainly first-person shooters are a blast with the Omni because they're hard to play without the Omni. It's hard to play a shooter game with just standing still using a thumbstick. It gets people sick. It's not what you envision to do. So that's historically been a great fit for us. But really, any game or even beyond games, any entertainment application that uses movement where you're walking around in is just an incredible experience on our device. So all of the above.
And how much space does it occupy at home? And how much does it weigh? So it's something I can bring on my shoulders from the supermarket, or you need some kind of help?
Yeah, no, it ships in a big box. It's certainly not something you carry on your shoulder. Right?
Okay.
It's like like a treadmill for your home. It's that
Okay.
kind of product. So it's but you can move it around. It's not massive. It fits in a home. It's about, let's say, 4 feet diameter. So in meters, about 1 meter, 20 centimeters diameter. So maybe you need about 1.5 meters all around to have enough space to play. But the device itself is about 1.2 meters, I'd say, in diameter.
And what is the feature of this device you're most proud about?
Oh, it's a good question. I just, when I set out to make an omnidirectional treadmill back in 2012, I had 3 criteria for myself. One was that it had to fit in a living room. 2 was that it had to be affordable, somewhat affordable to consumers. And 3 was that it had to work well. It had to give you the impression, at least to your brain, that you're walking around inside VR. And that's what it does. And that's what I'm most proud about, is that with the Omni, you're walking around inside that virtual world. And I find it incredible. And once you start using the Omni, it's very hard to go back to VR without it because you're so used to just walking around in VR. Then suddenly having to push a button on a joystick is like, oh, forget about it, So yeah, it's cool.
And so talking about let's say the Omni and how the Omni One, how it came to life. So if I remember well, you did some kind of crowdfunding about it online, which I found it, let's say, it's usually different than the approach other companies make, like getting 20 millions from some VCs or whatever. So why have you gone for this route? So no Kickstarter, no VCs, but crowdfunding. Why?
Yeah, well, we've done all of the above. We have venture investors as well. Mark Cuban is a big investor, and we raised over $35 million to date from investors.
Compliments.
Yeah, thank you, including VCs, including big investors, but also equity crowdfunding. It's always been a great fit for us. We love doing it. We love having our community be investors in our company. We love having our customers be investors, so that they're not just customers, they're really evangelists that believe in what we do as a company and are part of our journey, part of our story. So we love doing it, and it's a great fit for us because a lot of our fans and players want to invest in our company. And so that's why we do equity crowdfunding. It's a great way for us to raise money. As a hardware company, you need a lot of capital. It's very capital intensive, so that's why we raise a lot of money over the years, including with equity crowdfunding. In fact, we're doing a campaign right now for any of your viewers who want to perhaps invest in Virtuix or interested in learning more. You can go to invest.virtuix.com, and we're currently doing our Series B round. And one thing we're doing is our investors get a discount on Omni One if they want to buy the product. And they're first in line to get the product as well. So if you invest $1,000, you get a 30% discount worth $780 on Omni One. So it's a nice perk for our investors who become part of our community and our journey ahead.
But so when you're looking for investment, I mean, not on the VC, but in the crowdfunding, you are asking people how much usually. So 2,000, 5,000, what's
the minimum is 1,000, the minimum.
Okay, that's cool. So everyone with some money that believes in VR could become an investor. And I know that anyway, as you said, I saw news about maybe you are shipping quite soon to investors, maybe, if I remember well, but tell me something about it.
We are. Yeah, we started shipping beta units to our investor community. Our investors are first in line to get units. And so we're first doing a beta program for our investors. Over 1,000 of our investors have applied for a beta unit.
Wow.
And so we just started shipping, we call it beta units. Of course, in hardware, look, once the bolts are made, there's not much change you can make. So it's not that the product is going to change drastically from where it is today. But we call it beta. The software, the games, we're still in the beta phase. But so yeah, we're shipping and we're delivering Omni One units to homes as we speak.
Wow, that's a great achievement. And what about if someone can invest, of course, can invest and be first in line, but what if someone wants just to buy a unit now? So how is it possible and when they're going to ship the next ones?
Yep. Not available yet for general sale, again, because we give our investors the chance to get one first. And we have thousands of investors that want one. So it'll keep us busy for sure through the rest of the year. General release, availability to the general public, I'd say sometime next year.
Okay, more sometime first half or second half?
Depends on how many investors want a unit.
Okay.
And that's what it depends on, and because we're going to fulfill that demand first. Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. So it's great to see some people finally get their feet on your platforms and give you some feedback. Hope to get also maybe one day an opportunity to try it. That would be very cool. But I want also to ask you, because apart from the consumer sector, I mean, what I saw where you grew all these years is really the location-based VR. I read about big tournaments of Virtuix. It became even very popular in some countries of the world, maybe extra Europe, like in Asia or things like that. So I would like to talk also a bit about location-based VR, because it's usually a sector we forget, especially after the COVID seems that it's dead or whatever. So how things are going for Virtuix in location-based VR? How is the market in general?
Yeah, that's been our key market for the last few years with our flagship product, Omni Arena, which is an esports attraction. It includes built-in esports contests with a $100,000 prize pool that we sponsor. Every time people play, they can win real money in weekly and monthly tournaments that are just built in the system. And we sell that system to big entertainment venues. And that's specifically for the US market. The US has thousands of those family entertainment centers. And big chains like Dave & Buster's, Sky Zone, you name it, trampoline parks, bowling chains, you name it, right? So that's our core market. That market has done really well. 2020 with the pandemic was really hard, but then after 2020 it was one big party. So many venues had their best year ever in 2021. So in 2022. So it's been a great market for us, and that market is alive and well. Yeah.
Yeah, so now it's, is it back to pre-pandemic levels? Is it better? How is the situation really now, at least from your point of view?
I mean, the family entertainment centers, the bigger entertainment venues, I mean, they had one of their best years ever in 2021 after the pandemic.
What?
And
Really?
2022 was also very good. So they just had two incredible years. So it's been great for that market, yeah.
Wow, that's really surprising me. And what kind of, let's say, I don't know how to say this question, but as an entrepreneur, as someone that creates a product, is it the same for you working on, let's say, the consumers and the location-based VR, or there are some differences? Maybe something gives you more excitement or different satisfactions. How do you see this as a personal side, let's say?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, working on a consumer product, I'd say, is the most exciting because it has the biggest scale. I mean, Omni One, we think can be a multi-billion-dollar business. I mean, we think we can bring Omni One to millions of homes around the world. So much demand for it, so much excitement about it. I mean, that's exciting. So working on a consumer product is fun. I mean, working on a commercial product is fun too. but it's different. And certainly consumer VR and commercial VR are very different. The games, for example, are of course very different for LBE or consumer use. So there's a lot of differences, but it's fun. I love working on products and building products. It's one of the most gratifying things you can do in your career.
Yeah, I agree. And what are the differences between a game made for consumer and for location based? So if someone is a developer, I guess, can be interested in this comparison.
Oh yeah, I mean, just the length of it to begin with, right? So our Omni Arena experiences or games are about 7 minutes each. For a commercial experience, that we find it to be the sweet spot. So it's 7 minutes, and you have to take out everything that's difficult, right? Everything has to be easy to play, hard to master, because you have 5 minutes to give somebody a good time, and that can be somebody who's barely played video games ever. So can't have any menu systems, can't have any difficult control systems. So you have to simplify it all, but then still design in enough depth so that an experienced player still finds it challenging and still wants to play many times. Like Omni Arena, for us, it's all about repeatability. Some of our top teams have played over 300 times. So there's players that have played over 300 times, which is quite incredible. So that requires very smart game design to make a game appealing to play so many times, while also appealing to somebody who plays it for the first time and doesn't know what they're doing. So it's not easy to do that right. And I think we have a good system, and we figured out how to do that.
And that's great to hear. So I have one question. Let's say this is a bit personal because I tried a few treadmills. I know people that tried it. And while they are, of course, very exciting because they really, I saw also some of the videos became viral, etc. But there is still one thing that still puzzles me is about the sensation of sliding on ice while you're walking. So the first question, I have two questions for you. The first one is why? And the second is, can we get rid of it at a certain point?
Yeah, no, it's a good question, and we have to be very honest about that. We stress this now, and everybody who wants to buy our product, we make sure they know, go try it first. This is not like walking on the street. It feels different. You're walking on a concave dish. Now, with our design, we've tried to make it as easy as possible. Again, we were very successful in commercial entertainment. So you have 5 minutes to give somebody a good time. So within 5 minutes, somebody has to be able to walk on it and feel like they're walking in VR. So it can't take days to get a hang of it. So that learning curve has to be pretty quick. And I think we nailed that. Otherwise, we wouldn't be successful in these big entertainment venues. But it's a very good point, Tony. We have to be honest about that. It's not like natural walking. It's not like it's not for everyone. Much like skiing is not for everybody, or some people, if you're completely uncoordinated and you're just not a coordinated person, it's probably not for you because you're going to be flailing on it, and I already know you're not going to have a good time. So it's not like walking on the street. It takes some getting used to, and people that are highly coordinated are the ones that get the hang of it like that, and they have a blast. And people that just are not coordinated, it's maybe it's not for you, and we have to be honest about that.
But do you think that this problem can be solved over time, let's say? So do you already have done some R&D on try to make this walking sensation like more realistic? Because I guess if I understand well your passion, that's your vision. So give everyone this real sensation of walking in virtual reality. So how is the research going on this side?
Well, I think our solution is pretty close. I'd love for you to try it, Tony, and you can tell me what you think. But the solution we have is the one where you walk on a concave, low friction base with low friction shoes. So it's never going to be like real walking. A solution with real walking requires much something like the Infinidec, moving belts and motorized belts, and that's a $60,000 machine, right? So unfortunately, if you want to make something that's affordable for consumers and fits in a home, the passive device, the passive design, I think is the best solution. That's why I chose for that route. But okay, you're walking on a concave, low friction base, and if you do it once or twice or 3 times, I think your brain thinks you're walking. It feels like walking, and you're just walking in VR. But there is that few minutes of learning curve that you need to get over.
Makes sense. And what is the, let's say, the future of your product? I don't think you want to stop here. Come on. So what what are that going to happen in the next years?
Yeah, I think there's more we can add. Haptics to the base, haptics to the vest. I find that haptics add a lot to the VR experience at an acceptable cost. In our case, it's already can be built in as well. So I think that'd be the next addition to make it even more realistic and fun. And then we'll see from there. We have a few ideas.
That's cool. Do you think that these products will ever become, let's say, mainstream as the PC, for instance? So everyone having in the future, maybe not everyone, but most people having a VR headset at home in 10 years from now will have a walking treadmill as well.
It's my vision because I think it makes VR so much better. It makes VR so much more enjoyable to walk around in VR. Nobody envisions teleporting in VR, pushing a thumbstick. People envision walking around in VR. And that's what our device lets you do. Again, it's not for everybody. You need some space for it. It's $2,600, so it's not super cheap. So it's not for everybody. It's probably not mainstream like a console because it's just a higher price point. But I think there's a big market for it. I think many people will want to have it. I think it's like in the movie Ready Player One. Not everybody has an omnidirectional treadmill, but the cool kids have one, right? So
yeah, that's a great comparison. And in general, what is your vision for VR? I mean, and the M word, the metaverse.
yeah, well, I just read yesterday that the metaverse is dead. Right on cue.
We will
Right as
prepare a
expected.
funeral at AWE probably.
Right as expected. The metaverse is dead. Here it is. I knew that last year that those articles would come out just around this time. Very predictable, but also irrelevant. Ultimately, I think VR is a technology and a medium that will be, I think, widely used in society for entertainment, other applications as well. But it's just so good, and it's only getting better. I think it's going to get to a point where, they call it a visual Turing test, right? Your brain will no longer be able to discern whether you're watching something that's real or virtual, and then it becomes such a great experience. And I think VR will be widely used by many people on a daily basis. I believe that. And then our device lets you walk around inside VR, which is, I think, even better.
That's great. And talking about career, let's say if someone that is listening to you maybe wants to do your job or something similar. I mean, what are the lessons that will you tell this person? I mean, we all have a long history of hard battles.
My
Do you have
first advice
something?
is always don't do it. Don't try it home. It's look, I've been working 80-hour weeks for 10 years. It's very hard. I mean, if you want to start a business, I'd say maybe do software as opposed to hardware.
I do software and we work a lot as well. So don't do VR. That's probably the lesson.
Don't do VR hardware. Maybe VR hardware is a long road. But look, I love what I do. I love our product. Our team has been with us for 7, 8, 10 years. Many of our team has been with us since day one, and we stay together because we believe in what we do and we believe in our product. So at the end of the day, it's all worthwhile. Yeah.
Yeah, but do you have some kind of life lesson to tell to people?
Golly, I have a book of life lessons.
Pick one.
Oh, it's a good one. Work hard. Work hard. I think the young generation, I don't know, they say that they don't want to work hard, or they think they can have shortcuts in life. I don't know. There's no substitute for showing up and doing things. Ideas are like buses. There's one every 5 minutes. Everybody has ideas, but you have to just do them, execute. It's all about the execution and pursuing them and working hard at achieving them.
Yeah, I like the idea of comparison between ideas and buses. That was great. So we've come to the end, but there is my usual last question. That is, if there is something else that you want to say, this is your moment.
Yeah, this was a great conversation, Tony. I think we covered most of it. If people want more information, I'd say go to invest.virtuix.com. It summarizes our story thus far, Omni One, our road ahead. And I'd love to welcome people as potentially a shareholder in Virtuix and become part of our community and part of our journey.
Yeah, and I underline again this invitation. I mean, I always like to meet with people that really thought a bit like me for many years, working a lot in VR. So really, if you can do something for Virtuix and Jan, of course, please go to the website and let's try to build something together. That's also what I say every day. Let's build this great product, this pushed virtual reality all together. So thanks, Jan, for your time. It's been fun. It's been great. And good luck for Virtuix then. Have a good day, everyone.
Thanks so much,
Bye-bye.
Tony.